This is the truth no one wants to hear. As someone who's been an entrepreneur since they've been 17, building out businesses, let me tell you, I've been rejected more times than I can possibly tell you or even count. I have done jobs anywhere from I've worked in sales, I've worked in marketing, and I've even run my own business. And let me tell you that the price to success is rejection. Being rejected is one of the precursors, if not the biggest precursor, to being successful. The truth is, after being rejected so many times, having literal doors slammed on my face from working sales jobs, having the person saying, "Oh, I'm gonna call you back," or "I'm gonna come back to your booth," not come doesn't come back. That rejection is something that people run from. That is something that is super terrifying to people, especially people who are dealing with things like neurodivergence and just people who are sensitive to rejection in general. And the truth is, as a human being, whether you're neurodivergent, neurotypical, no one likes being rejected. It's one of the worst feelings, I think, on the face of the planet. But the more that you are told no, you literally are getting a step closer to yes, as long as that you take the proper steps to getting to that yes. And like, look, I get it. Rejection is horrible. It feels terrible. It's literally one of the most innate horrible feelings, honestly. Rejection can feel also very personal, especially if you're just starting out on your career as an entrepreneur, professional. And honestly, I get it. But when you look around and you see the stories in the life of people who have also started their own businesses or their own ventures, you understand that, hey, this rejection of somebody telling me that my work was absolute crap may have not been true. Or maybe I needed to change something. And 9 times out of 10, when someone tells you no about your pitch, your proposal, your idea for anything, it definitely has its effects. Someone who's literally done door to door sales, oops, rejection therapy, it really has taken into account how many times that people have said no to me along my journey as being an entrepreneur and how much my mindset has shifted from the beginning of me trying to set up my own little Shopify store to where I'm at now, building and growing a business that is in the wellness, where I'm at now, to building Shopify stores, to now growing and building an e-commerce brand on TikTok and YouTube, and building an e-commerce brand on Instagram and TikTok. Life has changed so much. But even I still at this big age, and probably even as I grow older into being an entrepreneur, will encounter even more no's. And I may even be the person who also has to say no a lot more. So when you're growing out and you're building something for yourself, you're growing out, you're building a business, let's say, the quick no's are the favorite part of, are my personal favorite part of people not really wanting to work with me, because I can take that rejection of not wanting to work with me. The people that really are annoying are the people who want to see what you got going on and say no at the end of it. There are 5 types of people that you're going to interact with. I definitely should make a video about sales and more in-depthly about what sales is like. But to speak about things from more of a spiritual aspect, when we think about rejection, let's say, when we think about rejection, you think about someone pushing you to the side. Whenever I think about rejection, I think about sheep on a field and everybody is going in the same direction. And maybe there's this one sheep, people like to call them black sheep, but they call them sheeps who get away from the herd, or they're rejected by the herd. And that's what rejection feels like, because a sheep being rejected from their herd, their pasture, is literally, it's a sentence to unaliving. I can't say the word on here, but it's not a great thing. And that's what humans genetically we think of as rejection. Rejection as a human being is almost the similar feeling to being kicked out of a herd. And that is an innate response that we have to rejection, and that's why it hurts so much. So if you guys needed to know, like, physical, I think that's the science behind why rejection is so prevalent and why it also stings as much as it does. And soon into my career of going through this brutal door-to-door sales job of being told no over and over and over again. Knock, knock. Yes, no, I'm not your customer. No, I'm not your customer. What is it? What is it? No, 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 I can get it better down the road. After hearing this over and over and over again, you get to a point where it's like, oh, when that person who finally says yes comes around, the vibe is kind of like, oh, you actually wanted what I'm selling. You're actually excited for it. Great. And the truth is, whether you're selling something or you're marketing your own services or you are just wanting to pitch your business, the truth is that each no that you receive is data. So there was this one time that I remember, I'm going to share you guys a story, another story about me doing door-to-door sales. There was this one time that I was practicing my pitch that I would give to customers and making the product make sense to them. And through that, I understood that this woman wanted this service, and halfway through my pitch, I messed up. And it was to the point where as though the customer didn't know that I messed up on the pitch until I told them, and then it just like it was a super awkward situation. But from that situation and those similar situations, you receive data. You receive data from every single no that you receive. Maybe you were too angsty. Maybe you were too this or that, whatever it is. Not necessarily internalizing it, the rejection, but understanding that every single no that you receive, it's information about the person that you could have been working with. It's information about the product that you could have been selling. Whatever the situation that it is that you're being rejected from, there's data and there's also a lesson to be learned from it and a different approach to sort of think of things from a different perspective. And the truth is, you're a person, let's say you have a restaurant and someone says that they're allergic to seafood, all you sell is seafood, that's not going to be your customer. And a lot of the times that I hear when I'm working with the client or when I'm hearing from other entrepreneurs about them being rejected, and the truth is that alignment is one of the most important parts of running a business. It's one of the most important parts about life in general, because there's going to be so many different types of rejection, just even in life and even outside of business. And a lot of the times that you think about rejection and why it hurts so much is because inherently it goes back to that principle of how our minds are receptive to rejection, about how we have a herd mentality necessarily as humans, and we have this innate need for community to be around us and to accept us. And when we don't feel accepted, you get these feelings of, oh, what's wrong with me? This didn't work out. What is it that I need to change? And 9 times out of 10, or I won't say 9 times out of 10, but a lot of the time, majority, there is less that you need to change within you. Maybe it's the wrong timing for that person. Maybe it's the wrong timing for you to have taken that client on. Maybe it's the wrong time for that job to hire. Maybe they hired someone previously. Maybe the job description wasn't real. There's so many aspects to rejection and how things play out that I don't believe that we necessarily take into account. And that's not to say that you can't go out and get those goals and those wins for yourself, but the price to success is going to be rejection over and over again. And one of the best things and that we can also take from it and take from the data that we're receiving is not to burn as many bridges, especially in business or even in your personal life. If you burn a bridge, no way that you can get it back. And it also goes into how we see rejection and how we see ourselves, focusing on the parts that we can change and understanding that we cannot accept less than we're asking, but we also cannot accept less than you're asking for. It's about when you decide not to burn a bridge entirely when it comes to success and building for yourself, is that you're able to, if you want to, go back around and see 6 months time, because sometimes time gives you feedback. Sometimes time shows you things that you otherwise would not have been able to understand. So making sure that you're taking time to reflect, almost like on a project. Like, hey, this is what happened, collecting that data and becoming better from that. Those experiences that you've experienced of rejection or not feeling like your product was great or whatever it is. And one of the best ways that I'm going to leave you guys with is actually not necessarily a coping mechanism, but it's a way to reframe it. I really love journal prompts on this channel specifically. One of the things I see when it comes to women growing and building as entrepreneurs, one of the things that I also like to leave you guys with is a way of resetting yourself as female entrepreneurs, as male entrepreneurs, whoever's watching this video, is that looking at things from a different perspective. I'm actually going to talk about the reset method, where you're able to reset and to reflect on the rejection that you've been able to that you've perceived as reject. This is one of the best ways that I personally go about thinking and reframing the rejection that I faced, and that's the reset model. Whereas though you're literally writing out a reset model of receiving the rejection, that's one of the top steps to it, and accepting it, accepting that the rejection has happened, and making sure that you always extract a lesson from whatever the rejection has been. Make sure that you are also sending that gratitude in the form of thinking like maybe a thank you note, or even just being grateful for that. But if you cannot send anything that's not grateful, or if you want to send something that's less than grateful, that also goes back to burning your bridge. Try not to crash out, guys. It's like that, but just make sure that you're sending things with gratitude. If need be, sometimes it's also great just separating it from your personal. Maybe it isn't sending gratitude right away. Maybe it's stepping back and separating the personal from the professional. Because a lot of the times the rejection that you faced is not anything personal. It's something that can be outside of yourself. This person, maybe it's a client that they didn't decide to go with you. They decided to scrap the project altogether. Then you're taking it personally without separating the fact that the project never even existed to begin with. So understanding that you should separate the two, and then also send some gratitude that way. Send gratitude for the fact that you took it upon yourself to actually try for it. And that understanding that, dang, this one failed, but the next one that I'm able to succeed in, I'm going to be grateful for that one. And making sure that you're also evolving. So putting in effort to get better, one yes or no at a time, one application, one reaching out, sending a message to someone, one time of just doing something to better yourself, even if that's just sitting still for a minute or two. That is effort in itself. And making sure that you also, which is T, of the reset, is going to be timely and trying again when the time is correct for you. So sometimes when you're rejected, it takes a while to get back into it. It's almost like some people need to take breaks from a lot of things in life at times. Sometimes when you're at work, every single day you have to take a lunch break, because that's needed. So if you need to take time from that rejection and recuperate, yes, because of the fact that rejection is one of the most strong emotions that we face as human beings. It's so real. And coming back to your bigger picture of goals, of what it is that you want to set for yourself, and understanding as entrepreneurs, we're going to face these challenges. You face these challenges, and that it should never do anything to necessarily overly affect confidence, and in making sure that you guys are also having things like support and people that you can really lean on to help you through your journeys as entrepreneurs. I really, really recommend all of you guys to check out my ebook about soft life living and what it means to be an entrepreneur and to take burnout for what it is, having and being a high productive individual who likes to put in a bunch of work, is like a workaholic, and taking that aspect of you into a softer approach towards your work, whereas though instead of you working so much, you're learning to delegate tasks, you're learning to build a business along with your own energetic flows. And also check out my last video about working along with your energy levels, guys, to learn more about what it means to cycle out energy and to work along with your cycle, especially for all of my ladies out there. I've yet to make a video about cycle syncing. I think that is going to be one of the next ones that I would like to talk about. Let me guys know what you think in the comments down below. Let me guys know what you think in the comments down below about rejection. What type of rejections have you faced personally, professionally? I don't know, whatever you feel like sharing. And just know that when you're dealing with rejection, that it's uncomfortable, but it's going to get you to a place where as though it gets a lot easier to understand that that rejection is probably nothing that has to do with you. And knowing that your place and where you desire to be is probably out there waiting for you, and it's going to stay there until you reach it. And that's one of the things I wanted to say. Keep working hard at what keep and to all my ladies out there who are also dealing with things like rejection, just understanding that rejection is just a part of the process. It's a part of the process, it's a part of building, it's a part of being. And specifically for my women of color out there and my black ladies especially, understanding that your worthiness is not tied to any individual things. As women, we can tend to beat ourselves up about being rejected from things, being rejected from groups, friendships, relationships, business opportunities. But at the end of the day, it's like that worthiness has nothing to do with the rejection itself. Yes, it does open up wounds, but understanding that your worthiness is not tied to those things is one of the biggest things that having to learn along the way. So I hope that this video resonated as much as possible. It is currently, it's got a lot to do with. I just hope this video resonates for whoever it's meant for, the ones who get it, and don't. But I feel like this video is definitely going to be for those who definitely understand the rejection and what goes along with it. So I'm glad that I came on here and made it, and I hope it resonates with the right audience. Thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I will see you on the next one. Make sure you guys are checking out and keeping up to me with social media, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.